dialed in
to Bucks and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these
because
stuff.
they know the brews.
And they know the Bucks, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
And save yourself some beer money.
Bucks
And brews.
Bucks and
Bucks and brews.
brews.
Bucks and Brews.
We are back on Bucks and Brews. That does sound a little loud. I'm going to lower myself just a touch there.
Equity, yeah.
And we're going to have some fun tonight, but I'm going to definitely be on my soapbox before we have fun. And before we do that,
We need our intro.
we're not going to play they can only hear it on Podbean, and then I have to splice, and that's a pain in the ass. So I'm going to hop on my soapbox after we talk about the most important thing this episode, and that is the beers we're drinking.
See, look at this. Mike gets it.
He does.
Mikey gets it.
Where you said by bruises.
That's right. So Nick has already said this is going to be disgusting, but I got it because it's a Tiki Island Punch from Steel Reserve. So I'm going to give that a shot, and hopefully it doesn't suck.
Background story on that is, I mean, that's probably like the third beer I drank, and I drank that when I was like 12 till 16. Like, if Steel Reserves and me just don't meet up.
I see. We had a like the other day on our post.
We did.
It was, who was it from, Nick? Do you remember?
Rogue Brewing.
It was from Rogue Brewing, and tonight I will be enjoying a Rogue Chocolate Stout Nitro. So Rogue, if you'd like to support us, we do like your beer, and we would be happy to have some more. And if I decide I want a third, from Big Lake Brewing, I have a gingerbread stout.
Big Lake, say out in Holland. We'll drive out and get that donation.
Yes, we will.
Rogue will do the same. I mean, we can drive anywhere to get donated.
We are happy to take your donations. Nick, what do you got, my friend?
I got the keto-friendly Michelob Ultra. Here, your light beer. And say, Mike, thanks for joining us. What do you have down there?
I've got a couple of different things. This is one I had never seen before. It's Collective Arts out of Wisconsin. It's called Jam Up the Mash. It's a dry hot sour. What's kind of cool about them is it was a 4-pack, but each one has like a slightly different like design, like art,
Yeah.
probably a painting of some kind.
Different artist.
And then after that, I'm going to do a Modella, which, even though it's not like microbrew, it's called Tamarind Picante. It's tamarind, chili, chipotle, tomato, salt, and lime.
Mike likes his stuff spicy.
I do. And then I have another one, if because this is a bigger one. If I need more after that, then I've got another Modella, but this one's a mango and chili.
Do either of you want to taste this?
Can you do that?
Can't do it.
I'll take that.
Nick is passing. I don't think it's bad.
When was the last time you ever heard me pass on a beer? Exactly.
The 16th of November, 2021.
It's
That's good.
It's not bad.
can't do it.
So I'm hopping on my soapbox before we start discussing divorce finances.
Yes.
So I've been sharing this the last couple of days, and honestly, I've been sharing this for over a year. Good friend of mine, Javier Escueda, was a detective for the Joliet Police Department, a sergeant. And he got suspended for basically bringing to light the murder of a suspect in custody. And yesterday he got voted out of the police union in Joliet, Illinois.
Really?
Yeah, he did, and I'm quite pissed off.
Yeah. There's nothing we can do about it. I wish there was.
Well, what we can do is what I'm doing, and that's amplifying my voice as much as possible. And I'm discussing the fact that it's total horseshit. I come from a cop family. My uncle was on the job for many, many years. He died in 1986 on the job in Chicago. So I have always had a great affection for law enforcement. Since this has happened, a whole lot less because, I've seen a lot, and we all have in the last, 18 or so months, with bad cops getting away with shit and good cops not stepping up.
Right.
And this is a moment when Sergeant Escueda stepped up. I mean, he said, this is not right. What happened is wrong. This needs to be investigated. And instead of taking that seriously, he's being shunned and possibly prosecuted. He's facing up to 20 years in jail if prosecuted for doing the right thing. So I wanted to bring some light to that. I'm pretty pissed off about it. And Javier, I got your back, brother. I'm there with you. So
Yeah, if there's anything that we can do, all right, we're glad to come in as a character reference.
absolutely. So that's my soapbox. Taking a few minutes to do that, but we're going to talk about divorces tonight.
We divorced Bud Light
Okay.
for a little bit.
You have divorced Bud Light for a little bit. Can I tell the joke that I said last night, or would you rather I go?
Let's pass.
Okay, we'll pass on that.
Rare
Okay,
occurrence that my ex actually.
Okay.
listened to this.
it was a good joke, Phil.
It was a great joke. Private message doesn't share it.
Yeah, if you get a hold of me, I will share that joke. It was my wife had a quick one there. Anyway, so Mike is our expert on divorce tonight because he has gone through a divorce. Actually, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mike. So tell us what happened. You came to me, so tell us that whole story, and then we'll get into some specifics.
Yeah, basically, it was. But
Tw-
basically,
2015,
2015.
David knows more about
end of
Mike's
2015.
divorce.
You know why? It coincided with Aunt Sue passing.
That's true, yeah.
So Mike and I started talking heavily again in February of 16 because it was Dawn's birthday. We
Yep.
came to your house after.
Yeah, so basically, I've been married for under 7 years. Had a couple of kids, and we had our difficulties, but not like anything that I thought was, going to be a deal breaker. But then, it was right around Christmas time of 2015, and I could tell my, wife at the time was being a little distant, so kind of approached her about the situation and didn't say much. And then a couple of days later, a letter basically saying I'm not happy and all this stuff, and we talked about it. There was talk initially about trying to work it out, but my end, I felt we needed to go counseling together. She thought I just needed it myself, and when it wasn't going to be kind of a mutual thing, we kind of, even though at that point we kind of both decided that divorce wasn't really something I wanted, but I understood that I really didn't have a choice in the matter anymore, so I accepted it. And then, as Dave mentioned, we, it was about the time I started getting in touch with him again, and we chatted on and off, hung out at,
Yeah, we went to Hopcat downtown Grand Rapids.
that was kind of our first time seeing each other in several years, and, hung out, and pretty much from that point on, just, rekindled our friendship, and, around the time. And we talked a little bit about it. I think it was around April-ish. I think it was when I came out to watch WrestleMania that we started talking about the finances. Because at that point, I was living with my parents, so I was out of the house, and then I'd stay at my ex's house. When I had the kids, that during my time, she'd leave the house, and I'd stay there. Sleep on the couch. It's where they were comfortable and everything. But then we started talking about financing, and that's all the time I got an idea of what I might have to owe for child support, and kind of really started looking at kind of a lot of the points and things that we're going to talk here, just to be kind of early on in the process, during the process, as the process finalized, handle.
Sure.
So,
I,
question.
real quick, I want
Go
to give a shout out to our listener on Podbean. We have Mike here, who's a divorce expert, but the person listening happens to be the one and only divorced person in my life. That's my mother. So
Hi, Nick's mom.
I'm Mary.
Everybody, my mom.
Your name until then.
Yeah, I say my mom is listening. So right, and
That's awesome.
And I come from a divorced family.
I do as well.
Just like David comes.
Mike does not.
You
My parents are still married.
good. You say
My parents have been divorced since I was 1 year old.
I was 5.
And for me, it was a little, when this happened to me, my parents been, married for almost 50 years at that. You know, my brother had been married for 20-ish maybe at that point, pretty close to 20. So I mean, I kind of felt like a failure at the time of
Oh, yeah.
because you know I had all these other people in my life. You know, divorce never hit me. I knew plenty of people been divorced, you know, dad as a, all that kind of stuff. But you know, for the people I looked up to as you know married couples, they were, you know, everybody was still married. So it kind of a failure.
I fully understand, I guess, where you'd be coming from, right? Because I'm married 11 years now. You know, and there's ups and downs, right? And so the idea is even when you think about that idea, like there's got to be that the failure aspect of it, right?
Well, and I know because you know Mike and I are very close. You were never thinking divorce ever. I mean, it kind of hit you out of left field.
It hit me out.
So I mean, you know, when you looked at it, I know that you know we sat down and you're like, well, I have all these bills, and I didn't necessarily know I had all these bills, so I don't really know what to do about these bills. And of course, you know, looking at that, you're like, all right, well, there's got to be something we can do. So I, you know, Mike came to me and he goes, you know, let's just look at this. So we sat down and we came up with a financial plan because, you know, you were taking on debt that you didn't know about. And I mean, how daunting was that?
Was probably that was going to be the hardest because I accepted the fact, you know, right from the beginning, I knew I was going to have to pay kids together. They're still, you know, we'd only been married, you know, just under 7 years. You know, she was officially pregnant, not too far along. But,
yeah.
So I mean, my son was born, you know, 7 months after we got married, 6 months. You know, I knew, and then my daughter was about a year later, so I knew, you know, I was going to be paying child support. I was going to be paying child support for 11, 12 years.
So I know that you and I looked into this. Why didn't you have to pay spousal support?
Spousal support, and that's something that I kind of researched, is there's a lot of criteria that go into spousal support, alimony, or whatever you call it. A lot of it initially boils down to sometimes just length of marriage. Like certain states are different. I think, you know, if you're going through divorce, you know within your state what that expectation is. And I mean, and sometimes you may not, like we hadn't been divorced, married 10 years. 10 years is kind of the threshold in Michigan. Doesn't mean that if you're married less than 10 years, you don't have the potential having to pay or receiving spousal support. Just that's kind of a threshold. And then they look at some of the other criteria, like what is the income differential? What's the lifestyle expected? Is the lifestyle of the one spouse going to be completely altered? Like, a surgeon who gets paid, you know, mid 6 figures versus, you know, a school teacher who makes, you know, mid 5 figures, you know, that's a pretty big, you know, difference in lifestyle. So that's where a spousal support may come in a situation where they were married in good standing, like, and there are things that disqualify it, like if there's infidelity, criminals, you know, things that are involved with the divorce, that even if the person is well off, they still might not, you know, receive spousal support or have to pay spousal support if, like I said, the other person is, you know, like I said, did something that, you know, created the circumstances for the divorce, whether it be infidelity, you know, gambling debts, that nature.
Well, so, and I know that, you know, Nick loves specifics, but I'm not going to get too overly specific here. Looking at this, your ex-wife had a expectation that she could make money.
Yes.
So she was not,
Yes.
she was an educated woman.
Yep.
Who had previously worked
Prior to her during the first part.
right. So it's not like you just supported everybody and she, you know, was just a housewife and didn't have any skills.
She actually has more degrees than I do. She has, you know, bachelor's initially for and then she has a couple of master's degrees. Go along with just continuing education, she had to do to keep her teaching licenses and things like that. And so, yeah, like I said, she's got more degrees than me, but yeah, at that point, and again, it was decided upon with her first marriage, she was going to be a primary stay-at-home mom. At the time we divorced, it was similar to that. She had her only documented income was her child support from her. Did some under the table daycare and babysitting, like a way to help have extra money, but again, it was under the table, so I couldn't use that as, you know, reason to pay, you know, less child support or stuff.
You knowingly kept money from the federal government?
It wasn't really-
I'll support that on here.
When Uncle Sam doesn't know, it doesn't hurt us.
Doesn't make the prices go up, ask everybody else. Say,
By the way, we were discussing this before, but I'm going to discuss it on air right now. Are we doing another one this week?
oh, I'm hoping, yeah.
Tomorrow
I don't know.
or Friday?
I don't know.
You need to figure that out.
Yeah, I gotta get my life figured out.
We have to talk about inflation.
I'm gonna tell you the same
'Cause-
thing I told my mom. I'm very, very busy right now. I don't have time.
I'm so sick of the idiots and the inflation talk. But anyways,
Yeah.
let's get back to divorces because
So-
you know it is.
Say,
Depending what night you do it, I may either in on Zoom or Twitch. If it's Friday, I may come up.
what
Ooh, Friday.
so when you guys got divorced, was your wife working?
Hear that.
She was not, like I said, at the time of our divorce, she was primarily a stay-at-home mom doing, like I said, some under the table. Just, it wasn't a significant amount of money, but just a
And-
little bit to help, you know, get like an electric bill here.
Oh, of course. And now, so when you get divorced, she has no income.
Yep.
What did they take from you during the divorce?
Child support wise, it's actually a pretty straightforward calculator. Drinking some of the road.
We are. So you guys have to share the little bit of that that's left
I'm not
because
gonna share any.
it's delicious.
That's very good.
Anyways, Mike, you were saying.
Okay, now that I've drank my Rogue Nitro,
Rogue, by the way, we are ready for free beer. Anytime you want to send that over.
I'll be here just for the free beer.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, so child support is a pretty standard calc. Look at income differential, but then not just income differential, but the earning potential. So like, and my child support initially, because of her, you know, limited documented income, was a little higher. And then as she started getting actual jobs, and like her first job was working as an aide at the elementary school that my kids worked in. She actually worked in the class that my son was in. There was a special needs child was in that class. Directed at being his you know, helper. And then she moved from there into teaching. And so like as she got into teaching, had a more, you know, significant income, then, you know, she reported that my child support decreased a bit. So there's pretty much it's number of kids, it's income differential, you know, there's really not a lot of other factors that go into child support. They really try to make it where, you know, and it also is related to like how the customer, you know, pretty much if you're two parents of like equal basic salary, let's say they all
Yeah.
make $75,000 a year, and they're going to split the kids halfway, there's probably not going to be any child. Because it is basically to, you know, make income equal based on the amount of time the kid is parent.
So I know there's basically two types of divorce when it comes to distribution.
Mhm.
So I wrote it down so I would not forget. There's community property states, which there are 9 of.
Yeah.
Michigan is not one of those. Or there's equitable distribution, which Michigan is.
Yeah.
Which of course means they try to make it as even as they can.
Yeah, and there was something like I know you had shown me was a Twitter from a couple of weeks ago,
Mhm.
and the person was like, you know, there's all this debt, and it was kind of the situation I didn't know.
Yep.
There was certain debt I knew about, like we had taken out a loan to put an extension on the house.
Mhm.
You know, we had put that, you know, at that point, you know, we just kind of refinanced the house. I had just short sold a house, so I didn't really have credit, like, good, or to do that. We put it, my dad co-signed. I knew about that one because, you know, I was basically paying my dad out of, you know, my paychecks, you know, money for to pay the monthly payments. I knew where that was, I knew where it stood.
Mhm.
It was some of the credit card debt that had been piled up that wasn't over. And yeah, and I mean, and yeah, basically when you split it, they look in most cases at all the combined debt over the course of the marriage and basically say, unless they see something like gambling debt, and they know that the $20,000 in gambling debt was clearly, you know, the one spouse, they were the only one that gambled. That might be one that, but other community debt, like, you know, things like credit card bills, you know, loans against the houses, that kind of stuff is going to be pretty much 50-50.
So I'm gonna ask this because fiscally, this is the type of person I am. I know in my life, there is nothing out there I don't know about. Because I pull credit reports on my wife to make sure there's nothing I don't know about. Not that she's hiding anything, because she's not. But I just want to know. And I know Nick is really the same way that I am. There is nothing out there credit-wise that you don't know about, right?
Correct. I mean, I don't pull credit reports nearly as much as you do.
Right.
But I'm not afraid to say, like, if we go look at furniture and they're gonna offer me 0% interest, you know, like that
Yeah.
type of thing. Hey, why don't you go open a credit card, right? And like we did that. Like we just
Yeah.
went to go refi or to get a bigger HELOC on our house, and I got to pull my wife's credit. So like, and I do like it'll be random too. I'll be like,
Mhm.
hey, any debt that you want to tell me about or whatever, and she's like, oh, why would there be? And I was like, I'm just checking.
Yeah,
right?
you
Like,
just need to know.
I
I don't want it to come up thinking, you know, yes, and I mean, not even
Yep.
like, you know, the bad part, like, just, you're interested in, you know, buying a car, buying a boat, buying a new house. You know, things that you might do jointly. Last thing you want to do is go out there and, you know, if you're gonna do a joint account on it, have, you know.
Have
both
some
you-
kind of surprise.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught off guard by this person has, you know, a $10,000 defaulted credit card.
Correct. So, I mean, I know that obviously there were things that came up in your divorce that you had no idea about.
Yes.
So I'm going to
Well,
ask.
well, let me just say, I knew there was credit card debt.
Yes.
I didn't know the extent.
Correct. So I'm going to ask this: if you got into a relationship again, would you know everything? So the question I have is, being a divorced person, because I know how I would feel. Is there anything that you would turn a blind eye to?
Financially,
Because if you break up, you're gonna be responsible for at
Yes.
least part of
Yes.
that.
there's a, you know, and like I said, I won't go into a lot, but yes, you're gonna be responsible for a lot of that. And like I said, and sometimes it's not all of it, but it's things like, again, you know, they'll look at like with the credit card debt. They can go back to the credit card. Was it, you know, on some gambling site? You know, was it on an adult entertainment site? And, you know, who was using that? Or was it, you know, just vacation for that didn't get paid off? Car, you know, car repairs, things like that, and they will. Like I said, and again, I don't know, we didn't, all of our debt was all like, none of it was questionable in terms of, you know, it was all like vacations, car repair, you know, child, you know, care type things, stuff like that, you know, there was no question. You know, I don't know, I've known some people who've gotten divorced because of like lying about gambling and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm not close enough to them to ask those questions. Hey, how was this handled in the piece of your divorce?
So I'm gonna say this because you and I recently come back from a cruise, and we're trying to talk Nick into going on a cruise so we can do an episode on the
That would
cruise.
be great.
Dawn got an email the other day. If she gambles $100 more on a cruise, she gets a free 3-night cruise interior room. So we're talking earlier today to my friend Christy, who you know, and she's like, "So you don't care if I go to Disney with you, and you know, whenever we go in January or February?" I'm like, I don't give a shit. I mean, if you really want to go on a cruise for 3 days to gamble $100, whatever. So Dawn's literally thinking about going on a cruise by herself to gamble $100.
Wow, yeah.
Just saying.
I thought you were talking about like Christopher wanted to go to Disney.
Christy does want to go
Oh,
to
yeah.
Disney with me, but I'm not sure she will.
So,
Yeah, 2 kids.
so you have a house, you have cars, you have credit card debt.
Yep.
You have a job that you've been working at for a while, so you have a 401k.
Yep.
Savings account.
Savings account.
Okay. And checking
At that
account.
point, I wasn't overly diversified in my, I pretty much only had 4.
So we have some money. You just refied, so you took probably 75-80% loan to value LTV on the house, right? When you refied the house.
The house, when she officially refinanced it to basically pay off, give her first ex the equity that he was owed, it was around the same time I was short selling my house. So I actually did not get put on the house.
So that was her house.
That was her house.
Okay.
And at that point, when we split, she had more kids to, put a roof over the head of. So he kept that house because we had the 4 kids from the first marriage, and then her 2 kids was, and like I said, on paper, it was her house with a cosign from. So I said I did. When she refinanced to get her dad off that or whatever, I wasn't owed any of that. My name.
Gotcha. And so how did they look at all of that? Because she wasn't working, so she didn't have 401.
She had some from when she had worked,
Okay.
but again, because she hadn't worked while we were married, she didn't have any, growth in it or whatever interest she may have earned on it. Wasn't putting in. So when we split up, she actually was able to get half of basically what was put in and what was earned as, return on investment and all
Right.
that during the time we were married. Like they took, snapshots of my account from basically the date that we were married, the date our divorce was final, figured out what that amount was. And she had.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you get half of any of hers?
I got a small amount just because again, they took that into account
Sure.
when they evaluated it. So you didn't get exactly half, but they figured
Yeah.
the small growth she had. It was $4,000 during that period.
Yeah.
It was $4,000 less.
In a respectful way. So she's been married before, got divorced,
Yeah.
she married again, and gets divorced. Now, does the government in any way, shape, or form care of multiple divorces? And like, right? I mean, if she wasn't working in her first divorce, which she sounds like she was, but say
At the very beginning.
you can get married for 10 years, have a guy grow a bunch, take half of his stuff, go do it again, take half of his
I think if it turned into like a
habitual thing.
habitual thing, like the Black Widows, whatever they consider, eventually they might be like, they're just a habitual barrier and divorce.
So can I ask this? Nick, can we get married?
You are currently married, you cannot.
No, I'll just get divorced from my wife and marry Nick and then take half his shit.
Currently married.
You'll get divorced too, so I can take half your shit.
Currently married.
Fuck you.
Legally, once you're divorced.
No, can't do it. Nope, not gonna happen. I love my wife.
I love your wife too. She's awesome.
So
I love my wife too. She's awesome.
your wife would get half of yours, and you'd end up getting half of mine. It still doesn't equal out. Like you might want to like try to be like vindictive and go marry your wife.
There's even a more
I'm-
interesting thing that came up
okay
in the
without
course
this.
of like, during the, time of like, signing the initial like brief or divorce final papers, that she was again to be able to obtain gainful, employment of like the ability for her, like as a teacher or whatever. You had to go back to school because at a point her certification had, expired. And so there was part of it, they basically looked at, when she last employed, so officially when her certification would expire. And like, if it would have expired like a certain period into our marriage, I could have been helped her pay for, her.
Well, and if it had expired and she had not renewed, you might have gotten spousal support at that time. I mean, they might have said, hey.
And that's what it would have been. It would
Yeah.
have been spousal support to cover.
Correct. So they would have said, hey, obviously she doesn't have her certification anymore. She can't go and work like she used to. So you need to support her still.
Yes. But it came out that it actually either expired early enough in our marriage at the fall marriage. But that would be something like, somebody like you, Nick, if you were going to divorce, like if she'd been a stay-at-home mom for the past since Emerson was born.
Yeah.
And she's in a position and a job where, she gets certified or licensed to do that. And, like I said, and she had lost that license or whatever, and it expired, and then you guys got divorced. Be financially responsible
For real?
that. Yes, for real.
So I'm just going to say this right now.
My wife is certified. This sucks.
Nick is retired and his wife has like an official job.
Yeah,
So
a certified licensed job.
yeah, so maybe he gets spousal support.
Well, I think they would look at all of his rental income.
By the way, Courtney, I'm totally on your side. So, anything you want to do, let me know.
Wow, you guys suck. Yeah.
There's just a lot of it. And I think
So I think we need to talk about prenuptial agreements. Can we do postnuptial agreements?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing.
If anybody is listening, let me know if I can do a postnuptial agreement on this, okay? No, you know what? Granted, we'll get into a big fight if you do ever get divorced, but really, she's supported me. I'll state it here. She supported me in doing my business ventures, and I supported her getting her schooling and doing all that. So
You two have been very supportive to each other, I will say.
yeah, so I mean, right, like if anything, she deserves half of whatever it is. Granted, I'll pick what fucking half, but it's like, and when she serves me papers, I got to figure it out because like I'll just drain everything and go gamble it away, and then they'll just make me make high payments, but I won't have any way to make
But the problem
payments.
is what they'll
So,
do is once that kind of happens, that's kind of something I want.
Yeah.
You could potentially be one of those spiteful
Yeah, that's
people. Once you find out, you're going to get a divorce, you run up debt, you drain the bank accounts, you do whatever.
You
other
hide
things.
money.
Yeah, you hide money. I mean, it's harder nowadays to hide money. I mean, if you're rich and
no people.
and sure, yeah.
I mean, like
Hey, I'm just telling you right now, anybody who wants to get divorced out there, I'm your friend and you can give me all the money you want. You're never getting it back. You can give it to me.
But yeah, I mean, you have to basically kind of, you hope that, nobody's going to be that spite. Got to be ready for
no, it's not hope. It
document all the
guaranteed thing.
document, especially if you're like, caught up there. You're the one who is being told, I want to divorce you, but you're also not going to be that spite person who's going to drain all the accounts. Get in writing at that point everything that's there, because you want to start knowing like what debt there might be, what some of the things are. Get an idea, like know your situation. Are there kids?
Yeah.
Are you going to have to pay child? How long are you going to have to pay child?
So I'm going to say this right now. So Mike is not a spiteful person at all.
No.
But Mike, am
Yeah.
I?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I am totally spiteful, and our daughter is 26 years old. So I mean, if things went south, it's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight. I mean, that's what it is.
Well, and I might be a little more spiteful once
Kids
kids
are
are adults. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you. So, just asking for a friend, of course.
friends.
So I have my own bank accounts, right? We talked about that. I keep things separate. If I hire the best lawyers, does she get to use my money to hire lawyers? Do I have to pay her lawyer fees?
I think that I don't know 100%.
I think that really depends on the judge and the judgment that they put.
Oh, Wow.
So for the most, that's
It's like
good.
really ginger, like
Very
it's
ginger.
not gingerbready to me. Like it's
Yeah.
weird because it's like very ginger, like Asian ginger. Like if you're gonna
Yeah. So Mike has it in front of him. That's the Big Lake Gingerbread Stout.
yeah.
Am I
Yes.
right? Very ginger.
Yeah.
Not so much bread.
No, it's
But
like
very good.
I'm used to the spice type, but like that's really like
Very good.
The ginger, the spice, like it
So-
it reminds me of like what I used to put on my sushi.
Can I take us on a tangent here for a minute?
Interesting color.
Very
Let's
interesting.
see.
So when's the gingerbread contest?
We don't know. We haven't picked a date. We have to figure out how many are interested. Seems like quite a few that.
I mean, I'm interested, but it depends because we're working.
it's probably gonna be a Saturday night.
This tastes like a V8.
Yeah, I've had michelada from
I hate-
Modelo.
I hate V8.
Oh,
I will taste it though.
So you're not gonna love the tomato then. Very tomatoey.
It is very tomato.
Ooh, I can't do that. Oh, I cannot do that.
Drink your beer. Yeah. So talking about it real quick. One thing my wife and I do every year is we usually have people come over to the house. Seems to be random people every year type thing.
It does.
And we buy graham crackers because I don't believe in the kits because that's fucking cheating.
Correct.
Right, icing and all the fun things,
Gingerbread house.
and we build gingerbread houses like actual. Or in your wife's version, she built an
She built it AT-AT.
an AT-AT, yeah.
Yes.
An AT, which has like some legs, and so that was kind of fun. She fucking cheated one year and brought over a friend, an old friend that used to be a friend, who apparently is a fucking artist.
She's a jackass.
Yeah, like that literally built like this brick road, and like I'm gonna steal it this year. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Like I don't know how I'm gonna, but like this thing was just
So not to take us too far on a tangent,
Yeah.
but last weekend in Grand Rapids was Comic-Con,
yeah.
and Nick went,
I did. I went to my first ever con.
and
Had a
He-
fucking blast.
he got captured.
did. I got so real quick. Sorry, we're taking us off.
We
My
always go on tangents
my
on
bro-
this show.
We do.
my brother was like, hey,
I saw your
go.
brother on the Friday that I was there.
Yeah. I say, and he's like, we're getting through this, and he's like, hey, you want to put a bounty or whatever? And I was like, dude, tell me what this is. He goes, pretty much, he's like, fucking hide and seek, right? Like,
Yeah.
you put up money. See, it's really cool because it's another version of what you guys do, the 501st.
So this is the Mandalorian
Okay.
Mercs.
Okay.
Who in Michigan, it's the Tracor clan. So basically what they are is they're bounty hunters.
Okay.
And you can put a bounty on someone.
Yeah.
And if they find you,
Yeah.
they put you in the
In the
the jail.
Yeah. And so you make a donation, right? Because all
Yep.
these groups are
We're
Nonprofits.
raising money for Make-A-Wish.
Yep.
At cons all the time.
yeah. And so we walked up there, we gave our donation, and they take a photo and they kind of write down a description, and you just go and they give you a little head start, and then
Yep.
you go and you have parameters that you have to, we couldn't go upstairs, right?
Yeah.
You can't go outside. You can't leave the building, right?
Right.
And so yeah, we lasted probably a good hour or so, and then you know what? Like,
So I have to interrupt.
yeah,
The story about how you got caught is like the fucking
Yeah.
greatest.
stupidest thing.
So- I don't know who caught him, but I will say this. So
it's
Nick is used to Star Wars people because Mike and I both
And,
are Tuscan Raiders,
the-
and Don's a biker
the
scout.
guy
So
that caught me is a
John
Tuscan
Rock.
Raider as well.
is he real?
Yeah.
Oh, you got caught by Hank.
Yeah,
Mind you, everybody thinks Hank is me
that's
all
what he
the
says
time.
all the time.
Yeah. So Mandalorians do not have to keep their bucket on. So a bucket is a helmet.
Yep.
They do not have to keep their bucket on.
unless you're going against the creed.
Correct. So Nick's looking for people with helmets on, or
Yeah.
buckets, as we say. And what happened?
Yeah, so we walk out into the main area, like I'm doing my stealth mode, right? I look out, I walk out, and I look and I just make direct eye contact with this guy, and I just like go, oh shit.
And did he have his bucket on?
He did not. Like as I said, we make direct eye contact. He has nothing, and I'm like, he goes. I walked towards him, and I was like, oh, I should have gone, but he goes, all right. So we're walking halfway through, right? My brother looks at me and he goes, sorry, man, gotta go. There's only one of them. Boom, bolts his ass off, right? And they're like, oh crap. Like, so I get there and he's like, oh, you don't have anybody to take your photo. And then all of a sudden I see my brother from pretty far away snap photos. I was like, yeah, just keep poking this way. Like, trying to give him more time. And they take my photo and do all that. And he starts walking away. And all of a sudden, one of them turns and sees him and goes, bam, gets him. And I start laughing at him. I was like, oh, I'm here to take the photo. But man, that was an awesome time.
Dude, I got there on Friday.
Yeah.
And Hank came up to me and he goes, dude, every time I'm at an event, somebody goes, oh, David. And he goes, no, I'm not.
So, but no, so like, I went there fully wide open. Like, I just, hey, I want
You didn't know what to expect.
No idea, right? And we did the episode about tardies, right? So I stopped into their event. Just
You saw Gavin, yeah.
So quickly shook hands, waved. I ran into a few people I know and talked about that type of stuff. I played virtual reality dodgeball, which was really fun. I played my first ever role-playing game, like just a quick sample of it.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of fun. Like, I'm not a D&D kind of guy, but like I can see where people enjoy this. If you have me as a leader of like the leader of this thing, and you can like create a story.
Yep.
Oh, I can see this all. Like the guy that we have.
Dungeon Master.
Yeah, it's like, but this one was all. It was actually Grand Rapids based. It was cool. Like, you guys were cops going into a thing. It was just really fun. I
So
wanted,
you now know the draw.
dude, like they had people in, like, everybody's so friendly.
Yes, they are.
And people had like signs that said like hey, we'll teach you, and it's like San Jose Catan, and there's just so many other like things. Oh, I heard
Timmy does that stuff.
Yeah, and
She loves Catan.
I want to play. I've just never, right. But man, the board games, everything. It's not just action figures and comic stuff. But like,
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
This is way too old for you.
no,
But Mike will understand this. So I'm there Friday morning. Okay. And Jenny and I are together.
did you go see Sarge?
I did go see Sarge, but this is before Sarge. So we're sitting there and Faceman walks past us. Dirk Benedict
Dirk Benedict.
walked past us.
So he was one of the people. that
He
brought
was
in.
one of the people they brought in, and he went to the Lego area and was totally checking stuff out. So Jenny goes, hey, will anybody go with me? And of course, I'm up for anything, so I'll go with her. So Jenny got a picture of Faceman's ass.
Nice.
Definitely, if I were to go there and get an autograph from him, would definitely be his face, man, not his character from Battlestar.
She kept going on. She's like, oh, I love the Battlestar Galactica, and I love Starbuck. And I'm like, that's Faceman. And mind you, I loved Battlestar Galactica too. But the A-Team,
Oh my God.
I mean, A-Team started in, I want to say 1983, which means I would have been like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And there was nothing better. I mean, so for those of you that don't know, the A-Team for us was centered around Mr. T.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mr.
Because
T.
we loved Mr. T. But, now that I'm older, I'm in my 40s. I'm an old man now. Wasn't that George Peppard,
Oh yeah.
greatest person in that show?
Yes. Hannibal.
Hannibal was awesome. And then you had Face, probably number 2.
Probably number 2. Probably then Mr. T, and then Murdoch. Probably. At
I
that.
don't know. I might put Murdoch
Maybe,
ahead of Mr.
yeah.
T.
So,
Dwight Schultz.
Yeah.
but no. So, all right, I want to get back to this
Get back on
divorce thing,
track.
because I have to prepare myself for divorce.
Yes, sir.
Because you guys keep fucking talking about this.
I'm sorry.
So what process? So she served you, you served her. Like, how's this work?
She started the process. At that point, we had pretty much decided it was going to happen together.
Okay.
So she went, she got a hold of the lawyer that had been helping her with some of the custody stuff with her first marriage.
So can I jump in for a minute here?
Yeah.
So you guys decided together, but really it was her that was the catalyst.
She was the catalyst, and I just kind of,
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
realized at that point I was,
Yeah.
dark.
If you want to do this, fine. Let's just do this and
Yeah.
get over it.
Better doing that right now than 6 months from now.
Correct. So, as you were saying,
Yeah, so she went, she had a lawyer, she'd been working with custody issues with her marriage.
Yep.
Even like in the last couple, you got a hold of her and said, so they basically started paperwork. I was trying to save money, so I didn't get a lawyer at that point, which was a bad idea.
Definitely a bad
I
idea.
didn't really get screwed over. So yes, we just throw that out.
Always lawyer
Always
up.
get a lawyer. As a man, if you are not sure, look at Adam. Yeah, I think it's the American Divorce Association.
It is, you're right.
But they are usually every large metropolitan area has lawyers that are associated with Adam, and they are going to know, all the things associated with your state, because they had to form basically at a point when divorce, especially child custody,
Yep.
was very much aimed toward women. Even if the woman, was an alcoholic drug user, the woman was pretty much always going to be getting, the primary custody of the kids. Because that Adam was formed to basically support that situation to make it more equal. They have just stayed around. They said they're very, for men, they're very knowledgeable. They know the state. And if there's any, if it's like an area, like a district where you have a couple of judges, they're going to know kind of how that area, and everything, and can help you through that process. But really get a lawyer. If you're in New York, or you have a friend is a divorce lawyer in California, don't use them, but maybe use them as a resource for who to go, because they probably know a divorce. Because you want to know people who know what the expectations are in your state and can help, and state to state. And we said we had the difference between equitable distribution and whatever the other one was that you called it.
Community property.
Community property, and then you've got things like, I think they're coming between the common law states and living together even without
Being
a
married.
social contract. You're considered married in the eyes of that state. You want to know things like that too, and like I said, they're going to know right away. They'll be able to look at, like I said, if you've got recent tax returns, so kind of 401, 401k, W-2s and everything from yourself, your spouse. They can go in and run it through, the friend of the court is still going to have to final say, but they'll get a good approximation of child support. They're going to let you know if there's a good chance you're going to be able to also, if you're going to either receive or have to pay spousal support. And you'll get a good start, and that will help with budgeting, because the first thing, like I said, and it goes back to everything Bucks and Brews. The first thing you want to do is budget.
Sure.
And at this point, you're
Budget.
and at this point, you're not budgeting on what you know, you're budgeting on some unknown. You want to figure out you want to get to know what you can know as soon as possible. Yep.
And so now, I assume, did you guys talk about any splits or anything like that person? Did you talk about any equity splits or anything like that?
Because she'd gone through it before, we kind of knew at that
But
income level what
you couldn't say, hey, I don't want you to touch my 401k.
that's just. I could have said it.
Well, I mean, if she would have agreed to it, would that have been okay?
You would have agreed. Yeah. If you could have put that in the papers.
Yeah, but who's going to read that?
Nobody's in.
That's people, right? I mean, hey, you did that. Granted, if she was working, I guess, right? And granted, she made.
And again,
if she made 20 and you made 70 a year, and you had said, hey, look, you've been investing in your stuff, I've been investing in my stuff. I mean, it would be. I love my wife, right? But and I've been the one to force her to put 15% away, right? And now I'm not investing my 401k, but I know mine is much higher. I was putting 25% away for the longest time.
And you can maybe work that in. And that's where having lawyers there.
Sure.
And knowing, and again, and it matters state to state, region to region, or whatever. They may say, doesn't matter what you agree to, standard is in this state split investments, even if and the money in the investment is 75% Nick's and 25% Courtney's.
Yeah. Now, when you When you go in front of, did you have to go in front of a judge or just a magistrate?
We went in front of a judge at one point early on just to finalize it. It was basically putting the motion in front of the court, basically.
Okay.
And that's when kind of, that's where you bring your representation, you basically say this person, everything like that. Other than that, yeah, a lot of it, I mean, there could be, there's always the opportunity for it. So they'll say, okay, your next scheduled date, whether it's with the judge or with a magistrate or, a friend of the court,
Sure.
mediator or something like that, you'll get out. It's like, if you can't come to a conclusion amongst your lawyers and yourselves, then you can go in front of.
How often do you get to go back to readjust your child support?
If there's not a known change, the part of the court basically will look at income sources. They pretty much have access to they know what my income is. They know what her income is. There was a readjustment down a year ago for me. I had to pay $50 less a month because they looked at her income, reevaluated it. Otherwise, you can challenge every 3 years. You can do a reevaluation, but they do keep an eye on her income increase because she went from being, a aide to being a teacher. So she went from basically 15 to 30, 20.
So I know, in our case,
Mm-hmm.
Dawn and her ex, we're gonna say asswipe.
Yeah, I mean, it basically was.
So
Sperm donor.
yeah, sperm donor. So they would go in front of the court, and I think my favorite comment was, "Well, I know he makes more money than me." Dickhead talking about me.
Your money means nothing.
Correct. The judge goes, "Yeah, that doesn't matter because technically he's not her father."
Yep.
And
Significant others mean absolutely nothing.
it doesn't matter what they make.
Her first ex attempted to do the same thing.
Yep.
Because you make more money.
I make more. She had my income that should have helped take care of the kids. And I mean, there was a lot of money of my income that went for things for the kids. We would do things for small vacations. That came out of my money.
Yeah.
That I was earning. When the kids, I had, all the kids did, well, all the boys did Cub Scouts. One
Correct.
moved on to Boy Scouts for a few years.
Yep.
All their summer camps, all the camp out, all the supplies, all out of my money. And I never complained about it. I liked doing it with them. I felt it was something. It was my activity with them. I had no problem paying it.
Sure. Let's say, and so if you got remarried, your wife's income wouldn't play any.
Nope. I could marry a multi-billionaire and have an impact on my pay for child.
Which I mean is good and bad at the same time. I know in my situation, so of course, I started dating my wife when my daughter was 5. And I mean, I don't think our listeners know this, but both of you know this. So, I was her dad from the minute I met her to, now.
Yeah.
And
Especially at a point of the dad.
yes, he did die. He was like Jesus. He died, came back to life. But that's a different episode. Anyways, so I mean, I've been her dad since she was 5 years old. And yeah, he's around and all, but she really didn't have much of a relationship with him through these 21 years now. And
Did she call her dad when she sees him?
no, she
figured.
calls him Mike.
I figured.
And they do have a relationship, which I got to tell you, that bothered me.
I can see it, given the fact that was basically non-existent. And I mean, non-existent in terms of being a, meaningful parent.
So, I mean, she saw him from like age 9 to age 12.
Yeah.
And that was basically the extent of it. And of course, I am, so for those of you that listen to us but don't know, I'm an asshole.
No.
And I am,
I think if they listen to it, they might already know that.
they might know that.
Not as well as the people who actually hang out with you.
I am a huge asshole, and I am very much, I am very much, what would we say?
Not passive aggressive, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm totally passive aggressive, but I was thinking more of the point of I'm very possessive. So what's mine is mine. Mind you, my wife just ran into the room, slammed the door, and ran out of the room and slammed the door. That's just because shit's going on in break room therapy. So if you want to break shit, come to break room therapy. Anyways,
You may not want it for your day.
So she needs to break some shit.
she might need to break some shit, but she has a huge group tonight, a huge group tomorrow, and yeah.
I have some almost dead smoke detectors in the back of my trunk that keep beeping.
I'll take 'em.
Almost dead. Oh, but they're gonna annoy you until they get broken. 'Cause
That's okay.
I want to break.
I'll break them.
Can you
Okay.
break them? Don't they have like internal batteries?
We'll take the battery out and
You
get
can't.
the shit out.
I was gonna say, they're probably the ones that are hardwired that have the.
Yeah, they're lithium
We'll break
ions.
them anyways.
Lithium ion sealed batteries.
Anyways, so I'm like the biggest dickhead there is, and I'm very possessive. So when it comes to my kid, she's my kid. It doesn't matter that I did not make her. I'm extremely possessive of her because I'm the one that raised her for the last 21 years.
Biology means a lot less than the actual.
Well, and I mean, because you were there in the beginning, and yeah, there was a little break there, but you've been there now, and you have stepkids too. Really loud, isn't it?
I don't know if anybody can hear that in the back, but I'm
There's
really
Pearl
excited.
Jam.
It is. No, that's Stone Temple Pilots.
Stone Temple
Let's say
Pilots,
STP all day.
It is. Yeah, Scott
So-
Weiland, he died.
No, and that's like, and that's just it, right? Like, you can take full responsibility for that, And you guys did it, right? Like, you didn't get child support, right?
No, we got child support.
How did you?
We did because I was dickhead supreme.
Yeah.
So Dawn got a whopping $241 a month.
Okay.
And we offered, we're like, hey, if you will just sign off and this is David's daughter, you don't have to pay shit. He goes, well, I'll let her have his name, but I'm not signing off. Well, fuck you, motherfucker. Then you're going to pay until she's 19 years old. And we did. We forced him to pay until she was 19
And
years
that's it.
old.
And that's another thing to realize. Payment does not end when they turn 18. Payment ends when they graduate high school.
Correct.
Good to know.
Yeah, they are still considered. I mean, they're not a minor, but they're considered.
Now, what if I have a genius of a kid, and she graduates high school at 13?
I never felt. I'm sure that probably goes until 18.
My guess is it's 18.
It's probably 18.
Or when they
graduation
graduate.
from college or high school.
Don't put college on me, you son of a
Sorry,
bitch.
no.
My kid will be vindictive as shit like me, and she'll go to like fucking law
No,
school
I
and then
just-
turn around and
I
become a
just
doctor.
I
And
just
like,
spoke.
say, don't you dare with it on me.
Yeah,
No.
instead of like whatever comes first, is whatever comes.
Right, gotcha. Okay, so, and now what's when you saw the debt, they dug into it, and you were like, shit, that is my debt, like for the credit cards and all that. Okay, so you expected that. And when did you pay any attention to it? Or you
What I
just
did is once I got the number, we had the number. That's
So,
we basically went in front of.
pre?
This was during the course of while the paperwork was still. What I asked for is I wanted to know what my child support was going to be. I put it into effect.
Yep.
And I wanted to know what the amount of debt was going to be and get that finalized. And that can go into five if you know. And again, this is where you have to hope that the person can do it. And that's why you kind of get it in writing right away. Because if you get it in writing, you get that signed in the document. At that point, the person can become a complete asshole, drain everything, and it's on them at that point. So
But
that's why
pre pre this, when you were building up that credit card debt, you didn't pay attention to any of that debt. You didn't. I mean, you just assumed that hey, it's getting
I
paid.
knew it was there, I just didn't know it was his back.
Okay, so yeah, and now because right, you hit right in the face. Like now you're on your budget.
Yep.
You're doing those types of things. Okay. What's
It's so weird because I hear it coming.
I really do hear it.
Picked up by the microphone.
what?
That's a good song right there.
Say what's besides the actual divorce emotionally. What's the hardest part?
I mean, honestly, outside of the emotional part, it really is kind of a living situation. Even whether for me, I had to like find a place to live because but I mean, really, it's the financial.
She kept the house.
Yep.
Why did she get the house and not you?
I didn't fight that one. A, because it was in her name, and B, because she had she had bought that house with her first husband, and she had the 4 kids that still in that school. I don't want to be like, nope, you've got to find a new house for you to live in.
Sure.
Or the 7 of you, I guess, with her.
Yep.
And I'm gonna, keep this house for the 3. I just can't.
You were nice.
Being the good guy, yeah.
Now,
I
did
was
you
like,
get half the equity of the house?
like that because my name was not.
Really?
We talked about the surgery.
Yeah.
I've been listening for years.
I think it's that.
A little bit of both.
A little bit.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out because like everything in my business is in my name. Everything. Like my wife's not going to get half of nothing, dude. So yeah, I'll get divorced. Fuck you. But
Fuck me.
He's gonna do after he gets divorced.
that's fact.
He might.
He's gonna be the top, the bear.
I will say this
Yeah.
right now. We did TikTok right before this,
We did
and it was all about pride.
100%. So
We are very supportive of LGBTQIA plus community.
Yes, we are.
Is that the acronym? For
I think that is the acronym.
Or whatever?
So I'm going to throw this out there right now. My daughter had a date yesterday.
Oh, awesome!
let's see. How did it go?
The chick from TikTok.
Yes,
I should take voice. Sorry, the young
Yes.
woman from TikTok.
the young woman from TikTok.
She was cute.
She was
Did you
cute.
just assume her gender? Oh, it's now a
Biologically female. We may not know if she.
Nick, did you see it?
We may not know the pronoun she identifies with.
I don't know the pronouns, but I will know. I know that they came to break room therapy, and they had a date here,
There you go.
and then afterwards they went out to dinner.
On your dime?
No, hers.
Wait.
No, so they
So all of a
split
sudden
the
she-
bill.
All of a sudden she starts renting a fucking place and now she's
Correct.
loaded.
So
Now
they,
she's loaded.
they split the bill,
Oh,
and all I know is, so I get a phone call this morning, and she goes, "Yeah, the next time we go out, we're gonna have a date for breakfast." And I go, "Date?" He goes, "Yeah, well, she said a date," and then she's like, "But I don't want to put any pressure on you." And my daughter goes, "Well, there's no pressure, none at all."
not at all.
That's a good sign.
It is a good sign. So either way, I'm very happy because my daughter had a very nice date, and
Yeah.
she's gonna have another one, and
Damn, we just got her out of fucking financial problem.
so
And now all of a sudden she's gonna start going out.
So mind you, I'm in therapy on Monday.
Yeah.
And my therapist goes, so Caitlin sat there and she did a podcast with you and Nick, and she talked about her finances, and then she talked to her roommate, and then she talked to her boss, and now she had a date. I'm like, yeah. And she goes, those are huge steps. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
they are. Say, you're welcome. Bucks and Brews is actually worth something here. Let's say we make shit happen.
So
Can we change our slogan?
when you listen to Bucks and Brews,
We make shit happen.
we make shit happen.
I like this. So when did you? So now, okay. So if you have a 401k worth, do they make you take it out of your 401k? You pay the penalties?
No, it's just because it's not considered an early one the way the court. it's considered, they understand. Like it's, there's some, I don't know the term to it, but it basically they know what to do. So that it's
Okay.
not like, no, I didn't pay like 2 or 3% or 5%. Yeah.
35% tax and then 10% fee on top of that.
No. Not at all.
So
This is basically, it would be kind of almost like, it'd be similar to like rolling it over. She couldn't take it out as like just a check. It basically had to roll over.
Now- now what
Account.
let's just say you had I don't know what you had in there, right? Let's say you had 100,000 and she gets 50 of that. Yeah, 50,000 in liquid cash. Could you just pay her that way?
Probably if I'd have had that, but whatever it could have been, I had like, 50,000 in my bank account, 70,000. Okay, we know you're getting, 50,000 from my account. I'm just 50,000.
Is now and the cheap asshole me, right? So let's just stupidly say
Take it from the account that gets the least amount of interest.
well, and that's it, right? So like if in the end, right, my wife and let's just say I'm in your shoes, okay? So you have $100,000 in 401k, the house is granted, let's say you were on the house, you get 20,000 of equity out of that, right? So for 120, savings account is 20,000, so 10, right? So we're at 130. But you wouldn't have any other money to be able. So now, if you wanted to give all of your half, so if you said, "Hey, fuck it, just take all of it," at in theory, could you get a discount for that? Hey, I'll pay you in full.
I don't believe so. I don't believe it's like, your medical, the hospital and say, I owe $20,000.
Yeah.
I give, $12,000 cash right now.
Yeah.
You,
Could your ex-wife just sign off on that and say, "Hey, look"?
I think we could. It would just be a matter. It has to get into the document.
Yeah, if I was,
I wouldn't want to do that and just say, okay, I'm paying you $12,000, and then have the paper say I owe $20,000.
Yeah.
And have her,
yeah,
a year later say, this is the $12,000 check I got for, but I got this piece of paper that says you have 20,
right.
and all of a sudden I pay her another.
No, like if you document it, if you stood in front of the judge and the judge, now does the judge give you a final like breakdown of what's all owed, right?
Usually the judge doesn't do that. That's usually in front of the court, like that. They usually come. The judge is just there basically.
And now,
Be the final site, because I mean you're breaking a legal.
and now,
It's basically what a divorce is.
Yeah.
You've got a government contract,
sure.
a marriage license, so you're basically dissolving that contract. So that's why the court is there a representation of the state.
And so that's just kind of like my thought is like, can I go to David? Can I go to my mom or dad or whatever and say, hey, I need, she wants $1 million. I want to offer her $500,000, like cash right now, just to give me. Can I go get that loan from somewhere? Right? Like
I think you could. You just
and then have her
you just
sign
want
off.
to have it all on paper,
Sure.
and signed and notarized, so it can't come back and like.
Well, she kind of has to agree to that.
And she has to agree to it, and that's why it's signed. You would be signing it. You would be signing it.
Correct.
Like I said, the friend of the court, the notary, whoever would be signing, would be signing, and saying, and putting their like stamp of approval on it, and saying this is what was decided upon. She's owed $1 million, but you're going to settle on 500,000. Then, then once you have the proof, I mean, that's basically, Dave had a good point when I was talking about it. Once I knew what that amount was, he suggested get on to Prosper.
Yeah.
He said get a loan. And I got a loan for $15,000 or whatever. And it wasn't $30,000 in credit card. About $18,000 in credit card debt. It was about $10,000 that was owed to that loan that we took out to, for the expansion on the house. So, I kind of looked at everything. I wanted to pay off everything. I wanted a little just extra in case, something else would come over the next few months. So I said, okay, I'm going to get, like I said, a $30,000 loan or whatever, and just have money. Pay for a check for
So
the
now,
amount that I owe. That I'm done with it.
now
You can choose to keep paying it over the next 10 years. My part is done.
I'm gonna go back to child support a little bit. Right, my wife makes okay money.
She
She
does.
does, right?
Yep.
Like it's
Same with mine.
it's not
It's not what you make.
Right, like it's not
My wife does not make what I make.
right. And so now I know that I'm going to continue. I know that my wife has limitations, right? Like I really do. Like she,
Well, there is, and
so
so
I'll
any
give her
career has a ceiling. I mean,
right. And so,
Dawn has potential to earn more. Hey,
Absolutely, she
business-
does.
This business
but
takes off, and she's able to expand
Which
or
it really kinda
franchise
is.
or whatever.
now I want to
Her income could skyrocket. But yeah,
now I want to know. So like, is my child support technically would go up?
Yep.
Is there any way that you can prepay child support? Well, like
I can't really speak
Yeah,
to that.
I'm
say-
thinking no.
you say it goes into like 6 month review or whatever, right? Is what you said? But like-
It's minimally every 3 years. Like I said, there's you can at any point,
Mhm.
like if I were to lose my job tomorrow.
Yep.
And had to go on unemployment and for the best, I make 90,000-ish a year.
Yep.
With like some of the bonuses and stuff, I think. My W-2 at the end of the year is 90,000
Yep.
and the like
65.
65.
Yep.
I could go to friend of the court and say,
This
this is what just happened to me. I need to reevaluate.
This is the
But
like,
then I've got to be honest enough where if I get a new job in like a year, that then all of a sudden pays me $110,000.
you have to go back and
I got to go back and say, hey, you know what? What they'll do
is there
is-
prorated?
is they'll pay arrears.
Yeah.
If
And so that
If they find out,
if they
you
find
didn't
out,
tell them.
yes, they find out, basically ended up getting a major increase in salary. You didn't tell them.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah.
they-
No, I just because it's all different. Right? I think everybody has different situations. You have two people that could be, homeless or and have a child, and child support is going to be. And you have people who make millions of dollars a year.
I
and
said
stay
it would be
home,
like,
right?
it's like a weird example, like I said, like surgeon, you're like an orthopedic surgeon or something who makes like
Yep.
mid-6 figures, like a teacher who makes mid-5 figures.
Yep.
You know what, I mean, like I said, and if it's strictly child support, maybe they had 2 kids together in 2 years, maybe they haven't qualified for alimony, they're still, doctor making 6 figures is going to be paying a lot of child support. Because they are going to make sure that those kids get paid for it. It's not going to be them living in a slum when they're with their, less income. I don't want to say man versus woman, because it could be the woman could easily be the surgeon, and the
She's-
man could easily.
Yeah, she's totally a surgeon and the man's
Yeah,
totally.
they're gonna look. They don't want kid living in a studio apartment. 2 kids living with their dad in this studio apartment while mom has a 12-room
Condo on Lake
condo on
Michigan.
like Michigan. Well, they're gonna basically be like they're not gonna take 50% of
Yeah, so
the
she,
mom's money, but they're gonna probably,
she's got
she's gonna probably pay
basically a mansion in Grand Haven. And
Yeah,
they're
she's
gonna
gonna
go.
she's probably gonna be paying about $100,000.
Which
So those kids can live a decent.
and I say it's to me it's I my wife and I think we would just go joint custody and especially A being retired, like I can prove that I can have the kid
I mean, right
all
now,
the time, all the
I mean,
time,
when you're working, when Emerson's not in school, you're being more of a stay-at-home
yeah, I mean sometimes
parent. Not sometimes,
Well,
yeah.
and looking at
And
it,
not
so
saying
like,
that you and Courtney are gonna get divorced,
right, but no,
but
but
it's something
it's
that,
to me I'm a worst case scenario guy.
Yeah.
And hope for the best.
so I mean, even like with me, Dawn and I, we've had our issues.
Oh, of course.
And there have been plenty of times where like, this shit could just fucking end and whatever. But
I bet
probably more than one.
well, yeah, because actually you're what we call me. You called me like a day or two before.
There you go. So I mean, that happens, and
100%. I don't think any relationship doesn't have you can't enjoy the positives if there was no negatives, right? If it
Correct.
was flat, you wouldn't be in a relationship. Like
there are ups and there are downs,
100%.
and at some point you could absolutely walk away from whoever you're with.
But I do realize when your wife calls you for entire thing, be there for days.
Yep.
Not
Well,
like
Not only that, I mean, every time I've looked at issues where Dawn and I have them, the thought comes in, what happens to our daughter? What happens to our cats? And not that I'm that guy, but I'm totally that guy.
And the daughter wouldn't matter. She's an adult.
She's an adult
So
now.
she can make whatever choice she wants. If
Correct.
She wants to spend 80% of her time with you and 10 to 20% of her time with her mom, that's,
Not a big deal.
yeah, but the cats.
The cats right now are a big deal because I love my cats.
Yeah.
Mike knows. I mean, Mike has known me since I was, I want to say 16.
Something like that. 16, maybe 17.
And I'm 44 now. No, you've known me since I was 16 because I got that job.
That's true.
After I-
Yes.
I
It was
got
the winter.
I got that job after I turned 16, and everybody's like, "This guy Mike, he's great." And I'm like, "Who the fuck are you talking
Because you
about?"
got it just after I left to go to college.
I had, and mind you, so I have to tell this story. So we're on our cruise, and Mike is calling me David. Because mind you, my name is David, and honestly,
I called it Dave for what's that about almost 30 years.
well, I don't know. We met when we were 16.
You were
I was 16. You
like
were
19.
19. Yeah. So and I'm 44 now. So like
It's
almost 30 years. So Mike is doing his best to call me Dave. And at one point on the cruise, I looked at him and I said, "Dude, it's fucking weird when you call me David. Would you just please call me Dave?" And he goes, "Well, I want to respect your wishes." And I'm like, "Yeah, for people I don't know or that are not close to me, please call me Dave because, even like Nick calls me David. And I mean, we've known each other for a long time now, but I hate Dave. And I've always hated Dave. But like my oldest friends, Mikey, even some of the other ones, like Chris calls me Dave. And I mean, I coach with him, or Chris calls me Dave, and I coach with him and stuff. But in
Yost,
front of the girl, yeah,
You
Yost.
got a lot of Chris.
I do have a lot of Chris. So Yost calls me Dave, except in front of the girls, he calls me David because I hate Dave. But Mike is doing his best, and he's calling me David, and I'm like, dude,
And I'm just thinking like 2:30.
and I'm like, dude, that's fucking weird. Just call me Dave like you always have, and he's like, yeah, I'll do that.
But I do try in front of like others that people call him David.
Correct.
David.
Right. I mean,
And I slip on it once.
people want their specific name.
Well, my name is Nicholas, right? And when I hear that name, I
And
look
a
at
lot
people
just
and go,
depends on which, like,
"Who the fuck you are?"
He was
Yeah.
called David by his mom and his
Right.
Yeah.
grandma and whatever, and his aunt for
Yeah.
his entire
My
childhood.
entire life.
That's and to me,
And you were
like,
probably called asshole.
oh my god, you have no idea.
Yes, he
More than
was.
both of you combined, I swear. I literally have stuff from my mom that's embroidered out, right? Like it literally just said, and I say, if you call me Nicholas, I it's instant defense, like, who the fuck are you and why are you coming at me? And like, this is
Like,
game
why
on,
are you in trouble?
right? Like,
Yeah.
well, it's either why am I in trouble or like you have some nuts calling me this, right? Like nobody calls me this,
I
right?
get it like with work. There's a lot of, not necessarily in my department, but a lot of people kind of work. They just call each other and by last names, and it's weird that, I mean, sometimes it's because other people have the same first name, so it's easier to clarify. But I'm like, I like to call everybody by their first name. I don't like calling people by their last name or their fun little nickname. I respect you. I'm going to call you.
Yes.
Whatever your preferred first name is.
And my old teammates, they'll still send me messages. And they're like, "Hey, Levy, what's up?" And I'm okay with that because we were teammates, and that's what we did. We just called each other by our last name.
And it's fine when it's somebody like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, in a work environment, like I said, if one of those came to work for you and they were like,
Yeah, no.
under you
No.
don't want to. I mean,
No, and in all honesty, like I will have people at work call me Dave, and I just don't fucking answer. I just sit there and I don't answer, and they're like,
Talking to you.
"Dave, I'm talking to you." And I'm like, "Yeah, my name is David. It's not Dave.
Yeah.
You don't know me. Don't call me Dave." And immediately they'll get pissed off, but I don't care.
Yeah, the only
We're
person-
not friends. I don't know you.
my wife will call me Nicholas after she's called me Nick 100 times.
Yep.
Nick. And like and it takes, and I give her so much credit. She probably takes 10 minutes of like, I'm doing something. Nicholas.
that's what you know.
And like instantly, like I turn to her and I'm like, and then she'd be like, I've been calling you, and I was like, doesn't give you a right to call me this. Like, you have no rights to call me this, right? Like, it is not a thing. And like, exactly, like I must have done something wrong. So, now aren't you you get your kids halftime, don't you?
And pretty much at this point, basically, it's
Just-
like 60-40.
But now, do you only pay 10%, or do you pay the full amount still? Does that make sense?
It's been when we came to our agreement on how many days, that's the other thing that gets taken with child. How many days each person. And they will look at it. Because there's certain things that's like Christmas break. You know, it's basically you get them in half summer breaks. All those things, you know, she gets them 1 year for spring break, I get them another year for spring break. Kind of, you know, it's not, you know, it kind of is, it's almost like a 2-year thing. To look at over the course of like a 2-year period, because, you know, that period,
Yep.
spring break splits, other holidays, like, you know, the holiday shift. So there might be 1 year, if there's like 13 holidays, or she may get them 7 on 6. So they kind of look at that over the course of everything, and they say, based on that, based on the. I mean, if you were close, like had a kid who was, you know, just about to turn a senior in high school, and you know you only had a calendar year to pay child support for, or they would let you be like, this is what you're going to pay for it, and let you just do it once. Because I mean, they're basically, you're not writing a check. They're basically deferring it. You know, they're pulling it. Like for me, it's being pulled right out of my.
That's
Yep.
by your choice or their choice?
Pretty much with all the bad news you're hearing nowadays about people who don't pay their child support, if you have set income and like I said, you're doing like direct deposits and stuff like that. they'll do direct withdrawals.
And I'll be honest, like I seem to find I work with contractors all the time.
Yeah.
And I've had contractors have been picked up from jail because they were behind child support, and then I go pick them up and I'm like,
And it might be that type of thing too. If you're a contractor,
yeah,
a what do they call it?
a W-2 or
Whatever. I know they've got like terms for like, you know,
at will employment. And,
whatever. So
yeah, because
I think it's different because then you have a steady paycheck. Like I said, they've got the company's you've given them your W-2 for
W-9, yeah.
last 2 or 3 paychecks, so they know what your base salary is and so. And I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, like you could kind of cheat the system a little bit and be like, you know, I'm hourly, and you know, when that if you know that divorce is like a year and a half away, working overtime.
And that's what a lot of people.
But again, that's something that's going to potentially bite you in the ass because, like I said, they're going to evaluate it. If they evaluate it and at some point it shows that you made an extra $30,000 in overtime, they're going to have you pay arrears.
That's why, you know, and I had a guy I worked with who did that when I was working at Gentex. Like he was going through divorce or whatever, and he just stopped working. I mean, he was working, and he's like, "Fuck it, like not worth it for me. I'm not."
I mean, they're also
money.
going to look at that too and be like, and assume that you're not always going to have. I mean, some jobs you may be 15 to 20 hours of overtime.
Yeah.
Mikey's job, you're guaranteed like 30 hours of overtime.
Right.
You're guaranteed 20 because they'll only pay you for 12, even though you'll probably work.
Your
40
word,
hours.
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, they're going to look at that. They're going to look at like the history. They're going to be like, you know, this particular year they only averaged, you know, 10% of overtime. This year they may have averaged 20 to 30% overtime. So they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, they're not going to charge child support based on 30% overtime if the average that you get in the year is only 15.
So
They're going to charge it based on the average. And like you said, and if you stop, if like your job changes in overtime, that's where you go in and say, hey, I'm not earning overtime. Reevaluate.
I was going to ask a question, but I have to wait for Nick to come back because it was a tangent.
So
So
play your. I will say, while we're on tangents,
yes,
even though you don't like tomato juice,
yeah, you loved it.
I loved it, but this would make a damn good Bloody Mary.
I'm sure it
Throw
would.
some
It
vodka.
sounds like a bloody.
Throw some vodka, throw some, you know, add a little alcohol with the vodka, throw a little more spice into it, throw a little, you know, pickle and
I only have two Bloody Mary
Maybe-
fans that are friends of mine.
maybe a slider, you know, you
One-
want a really loaded Bloody Mary.
One of them does not drink anymore, so you're the only Bloody Mary fan I have that drinks.
Jim,
Yes,
okay, I'm gonna think of who doesn't drink it.
Jim liked Bloody Marys, but he does not drink anymore because he was much like me and drank way too much.
I don't know what happened to him that day. He must have just been in a weird mood. Because I mean, yours, you kind of, you figured out what your root cause it.
I did. Mine was Trump.
Which unfortunately means that about a year from now, you might be drinking. It's gonna be news for
Sorry. So I think we're gonna wrap up soon because Nick just gave me that sign. But can I ask you a question before we do?
Yeah, of course. Let's have fun.
So I got a tweet here from our favorite follower, the Domicon Sue.
Yeah.
And this is up your alley.
and
It says,
Sue.
it says generational wealth isn't being able to leave a yacht to your kids. It's making sure they don't have to start from scratch. Shouldn't be that hard, but it's still out of reach for a lot of people. This needs to change. Thoughts?
Oh, 100%, right? Like it is, I mean, to me, generational wealth is exactly, it's really exactly that. Take out the yacht aspect, right? Starting from scratch, right? So like if growing up, like you didn't have a house and then you can leave your kid a house and they have nothing to worry about. It's paid off in full.
Yep.
Like they don't have to, they can just instantly build. And then if you lead 401k, you know, if you lead money and they have a house paid off, like now kids can go fuck that up and I want a bigger house and sell and get into debt and do all that. But like if you can take from nothing to a house
Something.
to money that eventually, and they say it takes 2 generations, right?
Yep.
So which let's just say nowadays generations are 85 years. Like that. I don't know what life is. So 160 years to create a Rockefeller wealth, right? So basically to have, if you want, everybody has to do everything correctly, things have to fall into place, and then you have it to where you could literally not have to do this. So, right. And when you start from nothing, you have to just grind and grind. So 2 generations have to fully commit to this grind, to this big giant thing. You know, leaving a yacht, right? It's gonna get old. It's gonna. So I was having this conversation with a friend of mine because one of the realtors drove a Bentley. I was like, man, that's an awesome Bentley. It's really cool. And he's like, yeah, it is. He goes, you wouldn't realize it's 2010. And I was like, it's Bentley. And he goes, yeah, but it's 30,000. He goes, yeah, but I was like, brand new is 100 and, you know, 250,000 or whatever now. But we're in Midwest, so we don't see these things all the time. But like, so, you know, that yacht, if it's a 1970s yacht, it's not as awesome as, you know, a 2020 yacht. And so we need to understand that leaving, you know, if you leave your kid 6 figures and then the next generation leaves 7 figures, you and I both know that amount of money is just stupid, right? So like when I say 6 figures, I really mean just 100,000 to 1 million, right?
Yep.
So like that big of, you know, if we're
So the
saying,
lowest then.
I say if we're saying 999,000, you can leave it down.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if you're, and then million turns into, you know, $1 billion, like just stupid money. Oh, I think that's fantastic.
So we're about an hour and a half in here, and I know Nick's got to get jetting. So I hope we answered a lot of your divorce questions. I thank Mike so much for being here because he had a lot to say.
I don't
And-
normally have this much to say.
And
I
Mike, you have
appreciate
to hand my beers this way so I know what I drank.
Oh, sorry.
I appreciate you coming on.
And that Steel Reserve was better than this.
Way better than Nick
I
said.
think Nick should have given it at least a 7.
I think you should.
I should, you know, I say I drink the regular Steel Reserve, you know, the 211s
This
back in the
was
day. So
So I'm going to give a shout out to Steel Reserve, their Tiki Series Island Punch. Very good. I might have to buy one of those because I know Mike and I are going to hang out this weekend. I might have to buy one of those for mine. Rogue for their Chocolate Stout Nitro. Rogue, we love you and we would love you to sponsor us. So, I mean, you gave us a like the other day, but give us a beer. Big Lake Brewing with their gingerbread stout. And of course, I had to have a fourth because, I mean, it was an hour and a half episode. How could you not? I had a Blake's Hard Cider Apple Pie.
yeah, it's like give a shout out to Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra. Thanks for keeping me healthy all of a sudden.
I'll give my shout out to, I gotta remember to look it up, Collective Arts Brewery. This Jam Up the Mash sour was very good. It threw me off that it was a full pint because I needed more than just my 12-ounce glass to do it. And, you know, we kind of talked about it when Nick was on his little sabbatical a few
Yes.
minutes ago. The Colada Modella, you know, the tamarind picante was very tomatoey, but as I said to Dave, it would make a very good Bloody Mary. Put a little vodka in there, throw some additional seasonings, throw, you know, pickles and, you know, whatever other, you know, toppings you want on your loaded Bloody Mary and, you know, have at it. Just a little beer kick, you know.
So,
We're
as-
hoping to jump on another episode this week, but if we don't, you know where to find us.
yeah, I say
At any point.
I
Nick?
got a few things that I have to go handle, and I might not be around for the rest of the week or all that. We'll talk about that off air.
I think we
But
will.
I say like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. We're sorry to talk about divorce, but you know, I mean, it happens
It
with a lot of
happens.
people,
It
right?
does.
So
People
the-
need to
the
know.
biggest thing is be prepared. Be prepared. Right?
Prepared.
Yep.
So thanks everybody.
Thanks for joining, and we will talk to you soon.
You've dialed in.
To Box and Brews, you might hear something
You can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use.
smarts of these
Because
stuff.
they know the
And
brews.
they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
And save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks.
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
brews.
and brews.
Brews.
Bucks and brews.